Sounds good.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Bawmcast. I'm your host, Shane Seligman with Grant Morgan, and today we would like to give a warm welcome to our guest, Tim Connon. And Tim, where are you calling in from this afternoon?
Over in near Palmer, Tennessee.
Do you watch any football, college football, Tennessee?
No, I haven't really kept up with that too often. I do
Oh, yeah.
sometimes, but I'm so busy I never really get a chance to always catch the game. So,
Yeah, Saturdays.
Sometimes that's a good thing to be busy, We like staying busy as well.
oh yeah,
Just hard work.
right.
So, Tim, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Well, I originally technically from Florida. Well, I was born in Tennessee and lived in Florida all my life, and basically grew up with my father in sales and marketing. He did a lot of ADT, home security, when I was younger. So I grew up in a sales environment pretty much my whole life. And when I was younger, I used to go to work with him and everything. And when I was probably about 9 or 10 years old, I had memorized his sales pitch for ADT at the door. And when he saw me that I had memorized the whole thing, he told me if I go to work with him, he'll pay me for every house that he gets in, a portion of his commission. So worked with him the whole summer and got him into a lot of houses, and he made a lot of sales. And I wound up buying the original Xbox by the end of the summer. And also had I got the original Halo with it too. That was a good old game for back in the day.
Yeah.
I have all of those.
Oh
We
yeah,
love Halo over here.
yeah,
So you always kind of had an insider look on the business aspect,
exactly.
Especially from a young age. That's great because I know at least the point of this show is trying to get people started at that young age to start doing something like entrepreneurial, because like we're just scared that this generation's slowly getting more and more lazy when it comes to creativity and starting a business.
Right. On top
And
of
so,
all, oh, go
oh,
ahead.
no worries, no worries. Tell us more.
I was gonna say, on top of all that, with all the technology that we have at our fingertips nowadays, really, this is the best time for everyone who may be listening to really start looking into researching and getting in on stuff like this, because really we have access to things that people 30, 40 years ago wish they had, they never thought be possible. So to any of the listeners, I would really encourage them to look into and research different fields for entrepreneurship right now.
Yeah, of course. With the internet, like you said, it's making things a lot easier for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And so earlier you had told us that you were producing free leads for yourself via the SEO. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And it's basically when it works for any kind of search engine. So when you go on your job websites, Google, YouTube, any of those engines, and you type in a certain word or a phrase for something you're looking for, the search engines are designed to serve you the most relevant results of what you're looking for. So if you're going on, like a good one is YouTube, because it's pretty YouTube's a pretty interesting search engine. So if you're searching like how to cook a specific meal, then you're going to get that search result. So if you're looking how to cook barbecue chicken, for example, you're going to get a relevant result, but it may not even be the result that you're really looking for. It may be this long drawn out recipe that you don't want. You may want to save some time. You may want a simple recipe, for example, right? For maybe cooking a barbecue chicken, 3 ingredients. If you type in the word 3 ingredients on the tail of cooking barbecue chicken, it's going to refine the search, and you're going to get simple, easy type of recipes depending on what you're really looking for. So that's what a search engine really is. And when you optimize for it, it's basically producing content that has keywords that match the search intent of what somebody's looking for. So for example, my website, paramountquote.com, we write life insurance articles for seniors age 50 and older typically. And we also do final expense insurance for young adults whenever we encounter them and their children and things like that. But we will write, a good example is we will get a lot of seniors wonder if they can get life insurance if they're sick, if they have a pre-existing condition of some kind. So we'll write a article based on burial insurance for say a surviving cancer patient, and we'll explain to them how the underwriting works and things like that. and then Google will eventually pick up on that and then rank it in the search results. And we get the person searching for the coverage and we help them get signed up.
Perfect. And then how long did it take you kind of to understand how these search engines worked and like using like more information on the tail, etc.? Did you run into any obstacles while doing that? I feel like sometimes on a search engine for YouTube, per se, you might not get exactly what you want, but did you ever get more than you wanted or like some extra information that helped you?
Yeah, so the search engines are always changing. They are always Google does updates on a regular basis. So does really YouTube. Any search engine is always going to be updating and trying to make itself better. So with updates come ranking changes. And in fact, just recently within the past month, there's been a big Google update that if you were to search it on YouTube, you'll find a bunch of news about it, how people are saying it's this new updates hurting a few people's websites out there and things like that. But the thing is you're always going to recover from those rankings if your content is written the right way. It's not written like a robot did it. Basically, Google wants humans. It wants people that are professionals producing content, so they know for a fact they're serving the right content to their viewers. So essentially, you're always going to be learning new things from the updates. And one of the things that I learned is that a good one is when I started out, I didn't realize that the URL of a page was supposed to be the exact target keyword that you're going for. So for example, we wrote an article on burial insurance for seniors over 80. Now, the target URL is supposed to say burial insurance for seniors over 80. When we first wrote it, it said burial insurance for seniors over 80, cheap, affordable rates 2022. So it was already off by a year, and Google will look at that and won't count too much towards your search results. Like Google can still rank it, but it makes it harder for Google to rank. So that was something that I learned later on that needed to change. And you can change URLs. You can do 301 redirects and things like that. And Google is getting better about not making that a big deal for sites anymore. But that's basically the workaround for things like that.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for sharing your insight on like search engines. I know me, for example, I'm not sure about my partner, but I don't really know much about how that worked before we started speaking to you. And you previously told us that before you found about the SEOs, you were working long hours. Can you explain a bit about how you would manage your time doing that?
Right. So basically, I basically had to develop a schedule and stick to it religiously. I had to go on my Google Calendar and schedule. Yeah, the mornings is really when I tackle my site. So I'll get up about 6 a.m. typically, and I'll do everything that I need to do for the day that I can get done within 2 hours before I start my dials. So 2 hours I'll spend on the website. And then after 2 hours, it's the full dialing day for the next 5 to 6 hours. And then the last few hours of the day, I'll go through and have to do more research and plan for the next article. So that totals about 10 hours. And then by then, I'm pretty much ready to go home, hang out, and just essentially go to sleep after that, or recreational type stuff.
And yeah, I think I always thought my 6 hours of Sinopolis was a lot, but that just sounds like a lot of hard work. But I'm actually happy I know something like Grant doesn't, because when I used to do my blog, I'm really happy we're emphasizing SEO, because with the blogs, that's all, like, that was like the main thing. I would have to put the keyword and the slogan, the title, the headers throughout all the paragraphs. But yeah, it's just really important. And I also know that there's so much competition with SEO, because there's so many people trying to write about like things that are going on. So with that competition, it being a constant challenge, did you have any doubts throughout the journey?
Oh yeah, plenty. I mean, yeah, I think any whether it's an SEO perspective or really any kind of business that you're breaking ground in and everything, trying to get into, you're going to have doubts in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's the competition or whether it's just simply learning curves and things like that. And one of the things that I found is that in my industry, a lot of the professionals here, they're very friendly people that are willing to share things with you if you just, contact them and, make a friend, basically, do a little bit of networking and stuff. And I know a few people that have high ranking sites and things like that on Google, and they helped me along the way. They gave me tips here and there. And it just, that right there, that encouragement from other professionals that, are in a different place than me was really what kept me going, because they basically said it's just all about time and really pouring your heart into it, and that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, having those connections is really important. Even just doing this with Grant, it's a lot easier to do it because you have someone by your side trying to support you rather than doing it by yourself and just being alone. And like if you're not being successful, it's just really unmotivational. But having that person next to you can just make you want to push more. But if you had one piece of advice to everyone listening, what would you say?
You need to find a mentor. That is the number one piece I'll give to anybody in any kind of industry. I don't care what you're doing in any industry. It's gonna ring true. Find yourself a friendly mentor, even if you have to pay a little bit of money for his service. And I'm not saying for everyone out there, do your due diligence and make sure you're checking out any kind of mentor you're considering or any kind of master class level type thing. But once you know that it works and you're at least 95% confident, go for it and get that mentor and get to talking and getting feedback from them and all the data that you need, and they'll give you a model to work with so you don't go through a bunch of pitfalls when you're trying to establish your business.
Yeah, we totally agree with that. Us being seniors in high school, just before college, we don't really have too many people that we can look up to especially for a business like we're doing now. So we really appreciate talking to individuals like you because it really gives us an aspect and perspective of what the future is going to be like, and hearing some advice and like your entrepreneurial journey. It's really inspiring for us. It really is. And so I just have another question. Before you found out about the SEO, was that something that you were looking to get into? Like, did you know much about that when you discovered like search engines, etc.?
Yes, it is something, because I realized, so a big thing that a lot of people in my space were really into, of course, is Facebook. And there's different avenues that people explore. So you'll get agents that want to go on Facebook and try to build like an organic following on there via Facebook pages, which it can be done. But it's, in my opinion, it's not as effective as a ranking website with all the tools that we offer the clients, because by the time we get a client into our sales funnel, they're educated, they know what they want, and all we have to do is help them along the journey. Someone like off of Facebook, for example, they're basically going to be a little bit more, they could be even a little bit more skeptical because they just know it's a Facebook page and anybody can make a Facebook page. So there's a difference between the two. But I had known about SEO, but I didn't know the technicals. But I knew that there had to be a way to develop a website and basically generate leads via the search engines. And to my surprise, that's when I came in contact with my colleagues that had sites, and they were basically doing it. And I came in maybe about 3 or 4 years behind them, so I was kind of right there. And now I'm just focused on blazing a trail, so to speak.
Yeah, of course. So you basically just got your mindset and you're just kind of like a rocket. You just want to take off in the same direction, huh?
Exactly.
And so before you started your insurance blog 3 years ago, I think you said, was this life insurance company and like business something you always wanted to do? Or did you have any like
Oh, I think he
I think he
froze.
disconnected. He might have disconnected. Can you still hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. Um, I hope he'll be right back. His thing might have just froze. Oh,
There we go.
there he is.
oh, yeah, there's something wrong with this meet specifically. I think it might be the code. We've been having problems with that. But so where did I get that across or
You were just in the mid sentence of the question. I didn't hear it though.
okay, yeah, perfect. I was basically just asking whether or not you had obstacles or previous mindsets towards different types of businesses before you got into the life insurance business. Like basically asking if you knew what you were going to do straight out of the gate from college, etc., or high school.
Yeah, so I had already been in the life insurance business for I've been in the business for about 8 or 9 years now, but I just recently got into website building and self-generating leads within the last 3 to 4 years. So I had already been in the business for quite a long time. It's just I was really I was basically kind of done with working with other people and, you know, fulfilling their dreams, and wanted to fulfill mine. And the main question that anybody has, you'll ask any insurance agent out there, you know, they all know what they're doing, but the biggest thing that they want to know is how to generate leads, how to get leads, and how to get good leads that aren't resold or recycled. And that's where things like, you know, digital advertising and SEO comes in. And when you learn about that, it's a lot of hard work, but it pays off, because those are the most valuable types of leads that an insurance agent can get. So I'd been in the business for a while, and then I was pretty much, just like you said, I was laser focused by the time, because my father is an insurance agent. So basically kind of followed in his footsteps. I watched him sell security systems when I was young. And then whenever I got older, he got into the life insurance, and he was being very successful with it. So I basically watched what he was doing, and I'd already went out and trained with him before I even got licensed. And that was pretty much it. I went out and got my license and just continued on from there. So it was pretty much following in his footsteps, because what he was doing worked. And that's what was most important to me, is being able to get fresh out of it and just get into something that works. That way I can keep, you know, trending upward, so to speak.
And so similar to what you asked, or what we asked you earlier about some advice, and you had told us to find a mentor for young companies like us, especially in this podcasting industry. Do you have any tips for helping us get our website more viewed, or just like better popping up on search engines?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would assume that for podcasting and things like that, that there are plenty of people that would be willing to network with you and offer some mentorship. I would look into podcasters, honestly, in the mid 200,000 listeners range, because I think there is something to the numbers. People who have lower numbers tend to be, from what I understand, they have a little bit more time on their hands, whereas people who probably have 1 million listeners, they may be so busy, it's tough to, you know, get a get them on the phone or whatever it is you need to do to speak with them. Just take a couple of notes and ask. And on top of all that, for you guys in particular with podcasting, SEO is the way to go as well. I mean, the cool thing that I like about podcasting and YouTube is that, honestly, compared to Google, podcasts and YouTube are way easier to rank for versus an article on Google, because an article on Google requires maybe 1,000 words or more, and then it requires you to plug in a bunch of keyword-rich different keywords in the text in order to make it more and more relevant. When you're on a podcast or you're on YouTube, Google and YouTube are trying to transcribe every word that you say. So right there, you're already giving it the content it needs, and you don't have to write anything. And then all you have to do is title and tag your videos and or audio, whatever, however it works on either platform, and that should be able to boost you up there pretty high, especially if you cover really high trending topics. That's another thing too, is to go after trends.
Yeah, totally. What was it like those 8 months before your site started to blow up?
It was grueling, because you're not seeing any results, and you're wondering if it's even going to work, because
that's frustrating.
oh yeah. Yeah, you're staring at a screen with zeros, and you're thinking, I just wrote 50 articles on this subject. Where, you know, where's the fruit of my labor, you know, basically. And the thing is too, about things like Google, everybody will tell you nowadays that Google takes about 6 to 8 months to actually crawl and start indexing your site, because your site is so brand new. It doesn't know 100% if you're trustworthy, and Google prioritizes obviously the bigger sites out there versus the smaller, newer ones. So anybody will tell you, they call it kind of like the ghost period, where you're not going to see any results for the next 6 to 8 months. And of course, I found this out after I waited 8 months and my site was finally gaining traction. So it was kind of funny, but yeah, for Google, it takes about 6 to 8 months, and you're going to see basically zero. And then if you did everything right, you should see some results coming in at that point.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this information, because I had honestly no idea about it. So it's really nice learning. And you had said that your future aspirations is to double your website's traffic. Is there anything that you're going to change in the future to hopefully get that result?
Provide really Right. Yeah, really just providing more value. Right now we're producing a lot of videos on YouTube as well that are going they're very strictly informative to the listeners and things like that and readers. So we're also reaching out on YouTube and on Google right now, and our YouTube videos are available in our articles. We're putting them in each one, and we're basically just kind of trying our best to give seniors as much information as possible related to the article that we're covering in the YouTube video. So we're doing that, and we're also just we're trying to provide a lot of transparency. That's something we're really big on, because we like to tell seniors that there is hope if they've been sick and they think they can't get life insurance. Because there are people out, I talk to people every day that tell me, well, I had cancer 3 years ago. I don't think I can even qualify for this. And I get to be that person that says, actually, yes, you can. You know, what are your medications? Are you taking anything specific? And they say, no. Okay, well, I think I have the company that can accept you. And that's a really good feeling. And we'd like to try to provide that also through our articles to tell our readers, like, hey, there is hope. You can get life insurance even if you've been sick in the past.
Yeah.
So that's a big
Well,
thing for us.
it looks like you have a great head on your shoulders, and we hope to stay in touch so we can watch your company double like you wanted. And we really believe that you can do that. And so I'm gonna pass it over to my partner, and he's gonna close out this episode. Thank you.
Yeah, you answered all of our questions beautifully. Honestly, we were able to learn a lot from you, me and Grant. Hopefully everyone listening in is able to learn a lot about SEO and how to build a company from what you're able to tell us. And yeah, that about wraps it up for this episode of Bawmcast. Thank you so much, Tim, for joining in and sharing your entrepreneurial journey with us and our listeners. We are so excited to see what the future has in store for you. I know you'll definitely double that traffic like you want to. And just talking to an entrepreneur like yourself gives us so much inspiration. And if you're an entrepreneur looking to build a winning mindset like me and Grant and Tim, honestly, feel free to visit bombcast.com or follow us on any socials to learn the secrets to financial freedom and the mindset of a winning entrepreneur. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Tim. We
Yeah,
appreciate your
it was
time.
great.
It was a great
Absolutely.
conversation. We're gonna follow up with an email, and we'll let you know when it will be aired all over, and we'll keep in touch.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Feel free to email me, and if you'd like to have me on in the future for anything else, I'm always here.
Of
course.
Of course.
We'll definitely do that.
Thank
All right.
you.
It was nice meeting you, Tim.
Oh yeah, it's nice meeting you guys too.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too.